Morning everyone. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome if it's your first time stumbling across our channel. Yeah, another brisk morning. It's going to be a reasonable day, I think, by the looks of it. So, no, just catching up on a bit of stuff yesterday. Yeah, the guys, Tony's just been doing a bit of maintenance on a few things, and Brendan started pulling down an old fence that's been needing to be pulled down for a fair while. Yeah, I did a few jobs in town yesterday, had a couple of meetings, and yeah, actually just looking to sort of get on the front foot with the summer cropping planning. I went out to the guys at Padman Stops and just spoke to them about getting some quotes on some automation to automate some of the bay outlets, and also we need to upgrade a few structures here, concrete structures in the rice bays. So I've just come down, I've just got to take a few measurements that I'll show you in a minute. But just thought while we're here, this is some of the lucerne and clover that we sowed. So it's well and truly kicking away now. So yeah, you can see up the rows, it's going really well. So if we get a bit of sunshine and that sort of stuff, this stuff will really get hooking. Probably what we might try and do is there's a bit of cape weed and a few other broadleaf weeds. We can actually take them out of this stuff when it's little like this. So I might get onto the aggro and get him to come out and have a look. And there is a few grass weeds, a bit of ryegrass and probably a bit of barley grass here too, kicking around. So yeah, we'll try and clean it up and yeah, look if we can get it as neat and tidy weed wise. When it's at this stage, it makes it easier going forward. So anyway, we'll wander over and yeah, I'll have a yarn to you about what we're doing here in the rice base. So we've got these concrete structures that are already in place. So what we've normally do, and if you've been watching on for a while, you would have seen these. We drop a series of just timber boards in. You've got a little groove. Oh, if I don't fall in. Got a little groove there. We just drop timber boards in, and that's how we regulate the height of the water with the rice. So what we can do is we're going to try and get a rubber insert made in there. So essentially it'll be like our other outlets. If you've been watching along for a while, you would have seen them. The rubber flaps and it drops down, and so one, they're watertight, and two, we can actually automate it, which is what it's sort of all about. Yeah, work harder, not smarter, idiot. Work smarter, not harder. Yeah, so we can automate it. It takes a lot of workload out of it, makes it a lot more efficient, and saves me having to get out of bed at some ungodly hour of the night to come and change water. So we've got one of these outlets at each end of these bays. So yeah, the plan is the guys out at Padman Stops will make a rubber insert for us so we can put in there, and then we can yeah, put a timer or some of the other stuff that we're looking at on them, so which will be pretty cool. So yeah, they just want a length and a width and a depth and that sort of thing. So we've got a little the wind will stop blowing it away. We've got a little thing here we just got to fill in, and yeah, I'll take a photo of that and email it back to the guys, and then yeah, they'll quote it up. So yeah, should work well, hopefully. I forgot I actually had one here in the yard, so rather than trudging around the mud trying to take measurements, yeah, we'll just have a crack at this one. So that's what it looks like anyway when it's not in the dirt. So yeah, pretty basic sort of setup. These are some other Padman ones that we've taken out that you can see with the rubber flaps. So that's essentially what the guys are gonna make for us, so we can drop an insert in that other stop. So yeah, so we've got the capabilities of using the rubber flaps. So yeah, anyway, we'll get these measurements taken and find something else to do. Just come over to swap the gas bottles over on this scare gun. Don't know whether it wasn't working real well before because it didn't have a lot of gas in the bottle, or don't know. It still doesn't seem to want to fire, but we'll give it a couple of goes. Got my little farmer with me, one of the little farmers with me this morning. She's still on school holidays, but she's hiding in the ute because it's a bit warmer in the ute. But we'll just have to wait and see whether this thing's going to work or not. Yeah, it's a bit frustrating. Well, it seems everything's cleaned out, but it doesn't seem to want to go. Still not working all that well. Not too sure whether it's a lack of gas or I have had a bit of a play around with the igniter, which is a bit like a barbecue little press button thing that you light your barbecue with, very similar. So, but yeah, it's sort of firing every 3 or 4 runs, which isn't ideal. But yeah, don't know. The ducks have taken off with the few shots that we've had. So yeah, I'll just keep an eye on it and see what's going on with it. But it's hard to diagnose whether it's not quite getting enough gas or yeah, don't know. It's got me a bit mystified. Everything seems to be working, which is a bit frustrating. Yeah, don't know. So I just come out this dam here, using this paddock here, dam that's full of kabungi. Yeah, it runs along the Moala Canal here. We've got these outlets in a couple of spots, and they work 2 ways. We can either let water in to the dam, or if we get a big rain event, which we had sort of back in the summertime, we can actually let water back into the canal. So yeah, I just wasn't sure whether the canal water would have been high enough to let it in, so I've just wound it up a little bit. Yeah, it's just got a screw thing here, and yeah, we'll just let a bit in. The dam hasn't got a lot of water in it, so we'll just top it up for the stock. We'll let this run for a couple of days, and the water level will probably equal out between the canal and the dam probably. So yeah, I wasn't too sure if the sheep have still got water up in the tank up on top of the hill, if you remember. But yeah, it's a bit easier. It saves them walking so far if they can just come to the dam here. Morning. So just come out marking lambs yesterday, so there's sort of its own little video, that one. So if you haven't watched it, go and have a look at it. Just come out to this dam, so we've got plenty of water here now. The dam really needs a clean out. I'm not too sure what we do with it, but anyway, yeah, so we'll get up and close this outlet off, and yeah, another nice sort of a day. A bit cloudy early, but yeah, sun's going to be shining too shortly, so can't complain about the weather at the moment. It's yeah, beautiful, so starting to dry things out, which is good. Morning. Tipped another day over. Another frosty start this morning. Just come over. We're gonna just got the truck and the auger running, and Brendan's just on his way over with the spreader. So just gonna give this canola its last rate of urea. So yeah, another 100 kilos, and then that'll be it. Yeah, you can sort of see the frost on the plant there, so yeah, but no, it's going to be another good day. Talking a bit of rain tomorrow afternoon, so a couple of mils, so yeah, we'll get in and get this done, and hopefully the trafficability should be pretty good here. So the crops are starting to use a bit, they're starting to grow, so no flowers here just yet. We might have another look over on the other side there might be a few, but yeah, none in this little patch. This little bit I think was sown a bit later than the rest of it. So yeah, there might be a few over the other spot. Yeah, just here on the dairy block, or what we call our dairy block. So anyway, gonna be a cracking day. We've got Brendan set up spreading, so I've just come down with the little fence. This is just the Illabo wheat with electric fence where the irrigator is there, and the sheep have grazed this side, but they're over the other side now. So just having a bit of a look here. It's all ticking along pretty well. This crop hasn't had any nitrogen yet, so and we're just trying to make a plan of how we're going to attack it going forward. It is a bit damp underfoot in spots, and what I'm actually doing here, where this row of trees is, there's a drain that runs along, and then it goes down into the big drain that I've shown you before. But you can see the crop's a bit yellow here, and the drain comes across this paddock on a diagonal. It sort of cuts this corner off, and yeah, it's a bit where the trees are there, just with the litter off the trees and that sort of stuff. It's sort of, the drain's not really flowing and the water can't get away. So what I'm sort of going to do is, Tony came down yesterday and just trimmed a few limbs off the side of that tree, so I'm just going to push them up with the loader, and then I've just got the little 3-point linkage blade on the fence, and we'll just see whether we can yeah, get this water to drain away. And I might even, down here where it's a bit wetter, where the crop's gone yellow, there's obviously a bit of water line here. It might have started to disappear now, but I might even sort of put a couple of cuts in the crop just to try and get it to drain to the drain and disappear. What if we get a drop? Well, this paddock's one of the paddocks that's going to go into maize, so it'll sort of be back in crop. But what would be good if it got dry enough that we got the laser bucket in here and just take a bit more out of the bottom of this drain, and even landform it back to this drain a bit, so yeah, it doesn't get too wet. So, but anyway, the sort of crop's still ticking along, not too bad. These ewes we're just talking about it, we're using lambs. We might look at weaning them next week. They've been on the crop all the time, unlike those ones I showed you a couple of videos ago. So yeah, we might wean them early next week, and they can come back onto the crop here then. So anyway, it's beautiful weather for it. The sun's warmed up. We've got the jacket and beanie off now, so all the frost's gone. Still a bit of dew kicking around though. Gumboots are wet. So anyway, we'll get these few limbs and that pushed up and try and get this drain cleaned out. So there's a bit of a scratch around here. The water is starting to run. It's a bit tricky because it's quite wet. The dirt just won't flow off the blade all that well. But anyway, we've got a bit of a run in there. I might just run down there again and clean it out a bit more. Yeah, and hopefully it's actually where I just walked out there where the crop's a bit yellow. There's no actual water lying there, but obviously there's probably been a bit. So yeah, next time if we get a big dump of rain, it might just help it drain off a bit better. So anyway, yeah, it all helps. Okie dokie. So apologies for this one. It's a bit all over the video. It's a bit all over the place. It's over a few days. Yeah, we've been away for a couple of days, so it's a bit higgledy-piggledy, but anyway, that's the way it is. There's yeah, still got a bit going on in the background. What the boys have done the other day while I was away to go to Melbourne is they pulled the river screen out of the pivot dam. So if you've been watching on, we've been having trouble with this, with losing prime with the pivot pump. Now this screen, they've got it tied up there, but this screen spins and essentially works a bit like a filter. Essentially it's spinning and it's got water, these jets blow water on the outside, and then it's got jets that blow water on the inside. If we just have a look, it's got, a bit hard to tell here, you can see, get down there, it's got these flaps here, and that's essentially the foot valve that when the pump's not pumping water, they should drop down and seal. So if we come back, you know, to start the irrigator again in a week's time or whatever, they should be holding water. Now, for whatever reason, they're not sealing. So yeah, we'll make a few calls on whether the guys where we got it come from, whether they come out and have a look at it, or the rubbers in it aren't quite right. I don't know whether those little flaps should be spring loaded. You can see, I think you might be able to on the camera, but yeah, there's 5 of those little flappers along the bottom of there. So it's a good system because it keeps the rubbish out of it, but for whatever reason, it's not working properly. Anyway, same again, thanks for watching. Keep liking, keep subscribing, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Ta-da.